Hello folks, and welcome back to Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty. I'm LazierBandit. Let's get on with the rest of the game. So in the last episode we got onto this tanker, which is actually a cover for the Marines transporting their new model of Metal Gear. Snake is trying to stop the proliferation of Metal Gear because obviously he's seen the bad things that can happen. But the whole tanker has been overtaken by Russian terrorists, and we've just spotted one of them out on the deck of the ship. So we are going to go and investigate that now, as we head out into the stormy New York night.
I'm on my way to the tanker holds. Report your status.
Control room, communications and engine room are under control. All entry and exit points to the tanker hold secured. Infrared sensors placed in operation.
And as we suspected, it's a female soldier.
Are the explosives in place?
Yes, they are all planted.
Listen, once we have what we came for, the tanker will be scuttled.
So the ship, they're going to sink the ship, probably to cover their tracks, once they've presumably stolen Metal Gear.
Your part in the mission is complete. You are to leave at once.
No, it's not over yet.
I can see the moon, even in this storm, pale as death. I have a bad feeling.
Oh, it's the world's most Russian man again.
You swore this to me that you would leave the unit once the mission was complete. Do not worry, this is a country of liberty.
No, this is where I belong, with the unit. I have nowhere else to go. Father, I want to stay and fight.
There is no choice to make here.
She's the world's most Russian daughter.
I remind you that you are carrying my grandchild.
And she's up the duff.
Helicopter out of here now.
Well, she doesn't seem like she wants to go. I can sort of see the world's most Russian man's point though, like you wouldn't want your pregnant daughter being in a sort of war zone. But I guess it's her choice. But Snake doesn't really care. I assume he's heard that conversation, but he's going to point a gun at her anyway.
Now! Toss your gun overboard, slowly. A woman. Show your face.
You men, you're all the same.
Who are you?
She's not an advert for Venus razors, that's for sure.
We are nomads, wanderers.
I said don't move.
Americans. So you shoot women too.
I'm a nomad too. What else do you have there? Take the knife and toss it.
I've always loved this scene, it's so tense, like,
Toss it
it really shows Snake's sort of control and awareness of a situation as well.
Hold that position. Now, turn around.
You know what you're doing. It stopped raining. Not too shabby.
And I've never noticed the great big scar across her face. You cheeky sod, Matrix Snake.
And that brings our tour to its conclusion.
Scout knife with a surprise. You a Spetsnaz?
I think you deserve a little credit. No one's ever dodged that shot of mine. But no one gets lucky twice, either.
So here we go, it's our very first boss battle. So we're facing off against Olga Galukovich. So she is the daughter of the world's most Russian man, as we gathered from that cutscene. And it's a pretty interesting fight.
I've been with the unit since I was born. I grew up on the battlefield. Conflict and victory were my parents.
So as you can see, we're sort of separated by these two sections. We can't actually get up to her. In some of the later bosses, in fact most of the bosses in the game to be fair, you can actually like approach the boss and maybe melee them or get in a little closer range, but this one really is a sort of more distanced fight. And you'll notice I shot off one of the
Whoever you are, you're not stopping us.
I shot off one of the fastenings on that tarp because she is going to try and actually use it to blind us, but we're going to try and get rid of it first so that she can't do that. Oh, damn it. I thought I'd snuck up onto them. And as you can see, the bosses now have 2 health meters. They've got one... Oh, and there goes the tarp. They've got 2 health meters. One is their life bar, and one is their stun gauge, so you can do a complete no-kills run of this game by stunning all the bosses as well as the enemies. Let's avoid that grenade, and I'm also going to try and shoot out that light, because I can't see a bloody thing. There we go. And I don't remember throwing quite so many grenades as this, but she seems to have a plentiful supply. But we've nearly got it, to be honest. Oh, thought I was going to pop out then. The controls in this game, it's a little easier to control than Metal Gear Solid 1, but it does still have its sort of its quirks, especially with like the aiming and things like that. But they made it a ton easier to run and aim at the same time. Because in MGS1 you had to hold down the crouch button, so many times I would always like lie down instead of running while shooting, and I've got to stop getting shot in the face. Ooh, good shot on her there, right in the head. And that is the first boss defeated. Nothing too difficult, as you can tell. It's pretty much just a straight up gun battle, but on extreme difficulties and hard it can be a pretty tricky one. You've just got to basically stay in cover and just try and get the drop on her, as you saw me doing there. And it is lights out for Olga. As I mentioned in the previous video, I'm doing this on a new account, so we'll get the story trophies as they pop, but we won't be on a trophy run, so we're not after dog tags and things like that, obviously. And we get a pistol, which actually can deal damage now, instead of just tranking people. And what's this thing? Big Brother is watching.
Cypher.
So let's see what Otacon got to say following that battle.
Otacon, the ship appears to be under their control. The men have Russian gear, but I haven't been able to find out anything else about their origin.
I know who they are.
You do?
We've ID'd the old man.
Who is he?
Sergei Gerlukovich.
Gerlukovich, one of Ocelot's allies.
Yeah, the GRU colonel. He's the one Ocelot was supposed to meet up with after Shadow Moses.
They're after Metal Gear.
Everything's changed. This is not going to be as simple as we thought.
You could say that. I saw a surveillance remote just now.
Not as simple as we thought. That is a good summary of Metal Gear Solid as a series.
Army.
First the Marines, then the Russians, now the Army?
You're right. This isn't gonna be simple.
Snake, there's something I have to tell you.
What?
We didn't dig up this info about the new Metal Gear on our own. Not like usual.
How did you find out then?
It was a tip. An anonymous tip.
Anonymous? You've never trusted those. Why would you start now?
I have a younger sister, a stepsister. We have different parents. I only knew her for 2 years.
You've never mentioned her before. So?
The sender of the tip was E.E.
E.E.?
Her name is Emma, but I always call her E.E.
Emma? Emmerich?
Yeah, it just caught my eye, you know? I figured it was a coincidence, but I couldn't get it out of my mind. There's really no one out there who knows about her.
When was the last time you saw her?
Over 10 years ago.
You think it's a trap to lure us out here?
I don't know. After I got the tip, I did break into the Pentagon system to get confirmation.
Okay.
Watch your back, Snake. Maybe I screwed up.
I've got a light-equipped USP. I can take them on now. There's no ammo, but it takes a 9mm, just like the Marines' M9. I'll find those somewhere around here.
Don't raise too much racket with that thing.
I hear you.
So there's no suppressor on the USP. Unfortunately, we don't have the sock-on pistol like we did in MGS1, obviously the sort of trademark weapon of that game. And you'll notice as well it gives you 0 bullets to start with, so we can't just go and blast Olga in the face. She's just out for the count, knocked out, so that's not the last that we'll be seeing of her. So there's not really much else for us to do here. We'll just head round, and actually we'll head up the mast of the ship, because that actually gets us a few good items. I think there are some thermal goggles up here, I believe. Not on this level anyway. Let's have a look a bit further up the mast of the ship. So the weather effects when this came out were just insanely good, and like they still look pretty decent to be fair in the HD collection. I haven't played the actual PS2 version for a long time now, but I'd say MGS2 is probably up there with MGS1 in terms of the amount of times I've played it. And as you can see, we've got the thermal goggles. Now, this being the, I think it was called the Substance version of the game, which is a sort of like enhanced version that came out on PS2. The thermal goggles actually do display, as you can see, a sort of a thermal effect, rather than, as they did in the original MGS2, the sort of basically red and black effect that we saw in Metal Gear Solid 1. So I always thought that was a pretty cool upgrade that they did, and they actually used these, ooh, a guard. They actually use these games quite a bit to test out new features for future games. So for example, in Metal Gear Solid 3 they changed the camera to be more akin to the third-person shooter camera that was in MGS4. Now on this guard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I tried to show in the last video, and if we punch him right in the crotch, oh, it's a little hard to get it right on target to be fair, we will actually knock him out straight away. Oh, come on. Trust me, it does work. Right, let's try and get the other side of him. Maybe that's why it's not working. Come on. Give me a dog tag first as well. And boof! We knock him out, he grabs his nuts, and he's over. I always found that pretty hilarious. I only actually found that out when I was doing my playthrough last year to get the Platinum Trophy, when I was doing the harder difficulties, because it is actually like a technique. I mean, back when I was playing this for the Platinum, I did get pretty good at this game, and it was one of those techniques you could sort of learn to do quite quickly, so even in a fight you could just punch them in the nuts and knock them out straight away, so that's always amusing. So we basically now need to get to the holds of the ship, and as you can see, if I put my thermal goggles on, there are actually there's a laser trap there, so you can scurry under it, and that's what we're going to do. Have I got any empty magazines? No. So basically, if you empty a magazine on this, you can throw them to distract guards, which is a really useful little trick for distracting them. So say for example, if I wanted him to move out of the way so I had a clearer shot, or to lure him out to get a clearer shot, I could have thrown a magazine and he would have gone up there, but I managed to take him out anyway because I've got skills. Oh, and he nearly saw me. Let's go! I love how I say I've got skills and then almost immediately get spotted. But there you go. Let's just take this loser out, like that. Now I can't remember on this one whether if you drag people into a security camera's cone of vision, or if you shoot someone in front of a security camera, whether there's an alert or a caution mode. I can't actually remember on this one. I know certainly in the later Metal Gears, if someone's spotted by a security camera and you've knocked them out, there is a sort of caution, but I can't remember on this one if that happens, but best to avoid it anyway. Now, there's no one round here. That guard over there, we already have his tag and everything. And I'll just pop down here just to make sure we don't miss anything cool. I don't believe there's really anything worth taking down here. Let's just... There we go. The nut shot. I knew you could do it from behind as well. That sounds wrong out of context. And we can't head through that way because we don't have the keycard, so we are actually going to have to go round. To be fair, I could have made my way all the way around there, but... Oh, balls. How quickly did he turn around? No! And no radio for you. So the operator on the radio is now pretty concerned, and they're going to send people to check for him, so I'm going to get out of there. But as you saw, I shot out his radio. In the last video I thought I'd shot out the guy's radio, but it was actually a chaff grenade that was stopping him from using it. But just to prove I'm not lying. It's also pretty cool in this one how you don't go into alert mode straight away, and they do have to call it in, because obviously in MGS1 as soon as the guard sees you, you are absolutely boned. It's alert mode and all the guards come running. On this, it's a little easier. You can just, as you saw, fling yourself at them and knock them out well, not knock them out, but knock them over so that they stop broadcasting to the controller, who will then send guards as backup. So if we'd hung around in that last room, a sort of a clearing team would have come to check on that guy if he didn't respond once we'd knocked him out. So we are now in the engine room. Let's have a look what's in here. That shadow looks familiar.
Raven?
Would you believe it, folks? Vulcan Raven is in this room. Let's do battle. Oh, it's an action figure. I never really understood why they put this in the game. It's just like a little Easter egg, I guess, like a statue of Vulcan Raven. But there you go. Anyway, I will just quickly show you this room, which we're coming into. First of all, we'll get rid of this loser. Now, you can, as you saw in Metal Gear Solid 1, choke out guards, but now you can actually, if you knock them out, right, let's leave him and stick him up.
Freeze.
So if we knock this guy out, we'll go for the nut shot again. Oh, sod it. So the nut shot's actually really useful more in the more difficult settings of the game where you don't have as much ammo, but we can probably just waste the mags. The shots. So as you can see, we can actually hide them away in lockers and stuff, which is really useful because, as I've mentioned, if you get caught, if they detect a body, they're going to be alerted. Hurt locker, and you get a trophy for it, so that's always nice. Anyway, this room that we're coming into, as you can see, is pretty big. We need to be right the way over there where that guy is, and there's a lot of sneaking to do. So I think we'll probably do that in the next part. Thank you very much for joining me as always. It's been great fun playing this game. Really enjoyed this game. So if you enjoyed it, please don't be afraid to leave a like or a comment or even subscribe if you haven't already. I've been LazierBandit. This is Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, and I will see you in the next part.